At the end of the day, do you find yourself feeling exhausted and drained and just asking, if I only had 5 minutes for myself, what would I have done? So many times from the demands from work and family, we feel cheated with our time. And I say the word cheated because I'm meaning that you didn't actually get any time for yourself in the past week or the past month to do anything that you truly enjoy. When's the last time you picked up a book that you wanted to read? Played that video game that's sitting on the shelf of your entertainment center? And that car that's underneath the cover with all the boxes and the shiny new parts that you've been wanting to put together? Have you had time to work on that at all? In today's society, oftentimes we put ourselves last. It's just not fair. Today, I'm going to talk to you about reasons why we don't have time for hobbies. Some simple ways you can carve out time in your schedule. We're going to look at different kind of hobbies that you can get into and why it's crucial for your happiness to devote some time for a hobby. Let's begin by talking about reasons why we don't have time for hobbies. There are many reasons in our life that we don't have any time to make for a hobby. The number one thing that comes to mind is work. Work is the backbone to our lives. It provides everybody with an income to survive, and it takes up the majority of your day. The other demand of your time would be from family, from your spouse, from family members, siblings, parents, grandparents, and if you have children, they're very demanding of your time. Also, you have financial responsibilities that may not allow for extra money for a leisure activity. Well, we just went over some reasons why you don't have a lot of time for a hobby. Let's look at some ways that you can carve out time in your schedule for a hobby. Carving out time in your schedule can be very simple and attainable. You can actually get up an hour earlier every day. I know, you're thinking to yourself, an hour earlier? I can't even get up on time now like I'm supposed to. Just think. Start out with maybe a half an hour and then progress to an hour. What would you do with 1 hour for you? Every morning, uninterrupted, no demands. Would you put a CD on and dance around your house? Would you read the news? Watch the news? The possibilities are endless. Another simple way is to plan ahead on your schedule, on your calendar. Look at it with everything else that you have responsibility-wise. Carve out some time for yourself. By using the calendar, you'll be able to plan ahead with everything else that you need to do. You'll probably feel a lot less guilty if it's planned with all of your other demands, and it gives your family a heads up that you're going to be doing something at these days for you. I use the calendar at our house, and on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of every week, I go to the gym for an hour and a half. By having it on our family calendar, it kind of gives my husband and my kids a heads up like, hey, mom's not going to be home. You can do whatever you need to do, but mom's not going to be here. I feel less guilty that's planned ahead. My husband and kids know what's going on, and it works out great. Now we just talked about some simple ways that you can carve out time. Let's talk about some hobbies that you can get into. There are many different hobbies that you could try. Thousands of possibilities. Some can be very simple and cheap to do. And according to the social psychologist and author Dr. David G. Myers, he discusses in his book called The Pursuit of Happiness, Who's Happy and Why, he says that, quote, the less expensive and generally more involving a leisure activity is, the happier people are doing it, end quote. It makes perfect sense. If you're not spending a lot of money on a hobby, you're probably going to want to do it more. Something that you don't feel so guilty about putting your financial ends at trying. Reading could be a great hobby to try. Puzzles, that could be something you could try to turn to do. Drawing in a sketchbook with art, with painting, velvet colored numbers, count by count numbers, you could try that. And bird watching. I know bird watching is kind of random to mention, but a lot of people and my grandparents and aunts and uncles love to bird watch. And when they go on trips, they carry a little sketchbook with them and they sketch out different animals that or birds that they see. And then when they come home, we get to sit down for an hour and look at every single picture. But they are so happy about everything that they got to do with bird watching. On the other hand, of simple and cheap, you can have hobbies that are more time consuming and financially more demanding. Stained glassing is a great hobby that you can get into that's very creative. And wood carving, something you could try your hand at. Well, we just took and talked about different hobbies that you can enjoy. Let's talk by looking at how crucial it is in your life to have a hobby in the first place. Having a hobby is very crucial to your happiness in life, to be able to devote some time for yourself. If you have a hobby, you can channel your creativity into other parts of your life. According to the article called Hobbies Are Rich in Psychic Rewards that is found on the New York Times website, Carol Kaufman, an assistant medical professor at Harvard Medical School, states that, quote, hobbies can enhance your creativity, help you think more clearly, and sharpen your focus, end quote. Another reason why it's fantastic to have a hobby in your life is you become a less stressed out person, a more well-balanced person in your life. Michelle P. Maiden, who's a psychotherapist and business coach, contributed to the article that I found on New York Times, Hobbies Are Rich in Psychic Rewards, by stating that, quote, hobbies also enhance self-esteem and self-confidence, end quote. Let's just think about that for a minute. If you're constantly running every day on autopilot by doing what you need to at home and at work, and then you get home and you go back to bed, and you wake up the next day and you start the autopilot routine every day, you're not going to have a sense of passion or inspiring happiness, right? So having a hobby can make you feel well balanced in life. And then if you're happier and more well balanced, that's going to lead into other roles of your life, the spouse role, the parent role, the family member role, and the work role. You're going to be a happier person overall. Also, having a hobby can lead to you becoming a better worker. Again, a performer at work. According to the article Hobbies Are Rich in Psychic Rewards, found in the New York Times, Gail McKeenan, who's a psychotherapist and author, says that, quote, challenging and stimulating hobbies may inspire new ideas that will help you at work, ... And any time you take a break from a routine, you develop new ways of thinking, end quote. So developing a hobby, taking time for yourself to enjoy your hobby, is going to inspire you in creativity ways. It's going to help you in when you go to work. You may look at a project with a totally new different eye. Also, having a hobby can be a great social activity. Bird watching, you can enjoy with other fellow bird watchers in a club. And a neat little thing about having a hobby is that you can actually start a small business with profit. The stained glass pieces that you make, you can sell those, get your money back, and with a great turnaround profit. Wood carving pieces, you can sell those. If you learn how to crochet and knit and you love to do it, you can make hats and blankets, all kinds of things for a home that people would love to buy. So you can turn it into making some extra income while you're enjoying your passion. I just explained to you some reasons why it's very crucial in your life to have happiness that comes from a hobby. Let's kind of review what we talked about today. I shared with you reasons why you don't have time for a hobby, some simple ways to carve out some time in your schedule for a hobby. We looked at different kind of hobbies that you can do and why it's crucial in life to devote some time to a hobby. I am very blessed to be a mother and a wife, but too often in the past 8 years with having kids, I was putting so much into those roles and I never took any time for me, and I felt very lost and disconnected. I couldn't even tell you what my favorite color was when my kids were young, or what I like to do in my spare time, what shows were on TV, because I never took any time to enjoy time for myself. Don't do that. Don't lose yourself within all the demands of life that you never put yourself first. You don't want to wake up a year later and that book's not read. The video game still hasn't come out of the case. And that pretty car that you have in the garage hasn't been touched. And you have a whole new things that you want to do to it. Demand time for you in your life. Put yourself first. All the other demands from work and family are always going to be there, and so should your demand for yourself. Take up a hobby and enjoy what life has.